The millionaire's terrifying wife was known for breaking people without raising her voice. Everyone in town feared her. Staff, neighbors, even her own husband. Her rules were final, her anger legendary, and no one dared to stand in her way. But one afternoon, when the gates of their mansion opened for a charity visit, a silent, paralyzed little girl was brought inside. She didn't speak. She didn't move much. Yet the moment her eyes met the wife's, something unexpected happened. Everyone felt the shift. Everyone held their breath. And then the girl revealed a weakness no one knew the wife had. Before we start, tell us from which city are you watching from? And don't forget to drop your thoughts at the end. Enjoy the story. Ethan Marshall had built an empire with discipline, strategy, and silence. The public called him a billionaire genius, a powerful CEO who turned failing companies into gold. But at home, he moved like a guest in his own mansion. Every decision, every whisper, every movement was measured under the sharp presence of his wife, Vivian Marshall. People said she didn't need to shout. Her cold stare was enough to end anyone's confidence in seconds. The mansion itself reflected her personality. The marble floors shined like ice. The artwork was arranged with perfect precision, and not a single cushion dared to be out of place. Staff members kept their heads low when she walked by, praying she wouldn't notice them. One mistake, one misplaced object, one late response could cost them their job. Marcus Hale, Ethan's house manager, understood this better than anyone. He had worked for the Marshalls for years, long enough to know that Vivian's influence reached far beyond the gates. She controlled social circles, charity committees, and even local officials. Her smile was polite, elegant, beautiful even, but underneath it sat something sharp, something dangerous. People stayed loyal because they were afraid not to be. While the mansion glowed with wealth, another part of town told a different story. In a small clinic near the edge of the city, Claire Bennett spent most of her days in a quiet room. Paralyzed since early childhood, she rarely spoke and communicated mostly with a battered little notebook that never left her side. Her handwriting was small and neat, each word holding more truth than her soft voice could ever deliver. Claire lived with a distant relative who struggled to balance work, bills, and Claire's medical needs. No one talked about it openly, but everyone knew the truth. The little girl had been pushed aside by life too early. Her silence wasn't just physical. It came from years of being overlooked, dismissed, forgotten. Yet she carried a strange gentleness, a kind of kindness that made people soften around her without understanding why. The charity invitation to the Marshall mansion was supposed to be simple. Bring a few children, show the billionaire couple the clinic's progress, gather a donation, leave quietly. That was the plan. The clinic director warned the staff to be extra respectful of Vivian Marshall. No mistakes, no distractions, no surprises. But the moment Claire crossed the mansion threshold, something shifted. Her eyes studied the cold elegance, the polished statues, the way people moved like shadows. And Vivian noticed her, really noticed her, with a stare that was colder than anything the clinic workers had expected. Ethan stood at a distance, watching the small girl in her wheelchair. Something about her stillness, her quiet strength, unsettled him. It felt familiar, like a memory he had spent years trying to bury. Marcus sensed tension building and stepped closer, ready to mediate if needed. The air grew heavy, too heavy for ordinary charity formalities. And just when everyone thought the visit would pass quietly, Claire reached for her worn notebook and wrote something that made Marcus freeze, made Ethan step forward, and made Vivian's face lose all its color. For a moment, no one dared to breathe. Vivian Marshall, known for her flawless posture and unbreakable control, stared at the line Claire had written in her notebook, as if it held a secret she never wanted anyone to see. Her fingers trembled, just once, barely noticeable. But Marcus caught it. Ethan caught it, and the clinic staff felt the shift ripple through the elegant hall. Claire had written only 5 simple words. Words that no one expected from a silent, paralyzed girl who had never met the millionaire's wife before. Words that pierced through Vivian's carefully built armor. Vivian forced a smile, the kind that fooled society but fooled no one standing close enough. "How sweet," she managed, her voice just slightly strained. She closed the notebook with 2 controlled fingers, but the gesture was too quick, too defensive. Marcus saw it. Ethan saw it. Claire certainly saw it. The guests began to settle again. The whispers traveled around the hall. Ethan moved closer to Claire, unsure why, only knowing that something inside him urged him to understand this little girl and the unsettling effect she had on his wife. "May I see what you wrote?" Ethan asked gently. Claire didn't look at him. Instead, she opened the notebook again, slowly, deliberately, and pointed at the same sentence. Her hands shook, not from fear, but from effort. She rarely wrote this much. Ethan whispered the words under his breath, and his chest tightened. Vivian cut in immediately. "She's a child. Children write nonsense. Let's continue with the tour." But Ethan wasn't listening to her. His eyes stayed fixed on Claire's handwriting. Something about it echoed an old memory, one he never shared with anyone, not even Marcus. A memory he had tried to bury so deep that even he avoided thinking about it. Marcus stepped behind Claire's wheelchair, ready to gently move her along, but the girl lifted her hand, stopping him. The simple motion froze him in place. Claire rarely raised her hand for anything, and when she did, it meant she had something to say, something important. The clinic director cleared his throat nervously. "Mrs. Marshall, perhaps we can show the children the library wing." "No," Vivian said sharply. "We're staying here." It wasn't a suggestion, it was an order. But it was also a mistake, because Claire turned a page in her notebook and wrote something else. Faster this time, more determined. Marcus watched in confusion, Ethan in dread, and Vivian in pure, silent panic. When Claire finished, she held up the notebook so only Ethan and Marcus could see. 2 short lines, a date, a name. Ethan staggered back a step. Marcus swallowed hard. "Sir, how does she know that?" Vivian's voice cut through the air. "Enough. That child is leaving. Now." "No," Ethan said, quietly. It was the first time he had openly contradicted her in years. Staff members looked up, startled. Even the clinic workers felt the shift. Vivian's jaw clenched. "You don't understand." Vivian, Ethan said, still staring at the notebook. "Why would she write that?" Claire watched them all with calm, steady eyes. She didn't blink. She didn't flinch. She simply waited, as if she knew this moment was coming long before she ever entered the mansion. The hall grew silent again, too silent. Vivian moved toward Claire, her movements sharp, her expression cracking at the edges. "Put that notebook away." But Claire didn't move. Instead, she slowly tore out the page, right in front of Vivian. A small, fragile sound of paper ripping echoed through the hall. Everyone froze. And then Claire extended the page toward Ethan, her hand trembling not from fear, but from the weight of what she was revealing. Ethan reached for it. But before he could touch the page, Vivian stepped between them. eyes flashing with a fear no one had ever seen from her before. "Ethan," she whispered, her voice shaking. "You cannot read what she wrote." Ethan had seen fear in business, in boardrooms, in competitors who watched their empires collapse. But he had never seen fear like the one flickering in Vivian's eyes at that moment. It wasn't anger, it wasn't annoyance. It was something deeper, something she was desperate to hide. "Vivian," Ethan said quietly, "step aside." "No," she whispered, gripping the torn page with trembling fingers. "Not this, not now." Marcus watched her closely. He had served the Marshals for years, but he had never seen the untouchable Vivian Marshall unravel. Her voice cracked, her breathing quickened. She held the paper like it was a match that could burn her whole world down. Claire's eyes stayed locked on Vivian, calm and steady, almost sad. It was as if she knew exactly why Vivian was terrified. Marcus knelt beside Claire. "Hey," he murmured, "what did you write? How do you know those names?" Claire didn't answer. She simply tapped the pocket of her small jacket. Marcus reached in and pulled out a folded, worn photograph. The edges were bent, and the ink had faded. He opened it carefully. His heart dropped. It was a photo of a woman holding a little girl. Claire, younger, smiling faintly, and beside them, a familiar emblem embroidered on the woman's jacket. An emblem Marcus had seen in old news archives years ago, connected to a tragedy Ethan never discussed. Ethan stepped closer. "Where did you get that?" Claire pointed again to her notebook. The clinic director moved toward the group, anxious. "Perhaps this isn't the best time." Vivian snapped, "Stay out of this." Her voice shook more with each word. Ethan's eyes hardened. "Vivian, what are you hiding?" Vivian's mask cracked. For a split second, her ruthlessness disappeared, replaced by something raw and frightened. "Ethan, please, don't open this." But that only made him more determined. Marcus handed the photograph to Ethan. Vivian lunged, but Ethan moved faster, gripping it tight. He stared at the image, brows tightening, breath slowing. He remembered the emblem, the lawsuit, the accident, the single mother who had pleaded for help, the case he lost control of because someone interfered behind the scenes, the guilt he had carried ever since. Claire watched him with wide, thoughtful eyes. Ethan looked at Vivian. "Tell me you didn't." Vivian cut him off. "It wasn't what it looked like. I did what I had to do to protect us." "Protect us," Ethan repeated, stunned. "Or protect you?" The words hung between them like a blade. Vivian stepped back, pale, shaken. "You don't understand what that woman planned. You don't." "Enough." Ethan's voice was low, sharp. "Tell me the truth." But Vivian didn't answer. Instead, she looked at Claire. Really looked at her. And in her expression, disbelief, dread, guilt, they all saw the truth forming. Marcus suddenly realized something. "Mrs. Marshall, you know her, don't you? You knew Claire long before today." Vivian flinched. Claire raised her notebook again, writing slower this time, her hand trembling from the emotional weight rather than the physical strain. When she finished, she turned the page toward all of them. Ethan read the words, and his entire body went still. Vivian whispered, "Don't say it. Don't you dare say it out loud." But Ethan's voice broke through the silence, filled with shock. "Claire, are you saying Vivian is the reason your mother never came home?" "She begged for help," Ethan cut in, voice thick. "I read the letters. I remember the calls. She said she was drowning, Vivian. And she wanted to drag you with her." Vivian snapped, her mask breaking at last. "I did what any wife would do. I shut her out before she ruined you." Marcus stepped forward. She lost her job, her home, her medical support. She didn't ruin anyone. She was ruined by someone with power. She looked small. I was protecting our life. Ethan's voice softened, but the pain in it was unmistakable. But at what cost? Claire moved her trembling hand and pointed at the photograph Ethan still held. Her eyes glistened, not with anger, but with something sorrowful, something searching. She wasn't here for revenge. She was here for answers. Ethan knelt in front of her. "Claire, tell me." His voice cracked. "What happened that night?" Claire opened her notebook. Her handwriting was slower than before. Each letter pushed onto the page with effort. She turned it toward him. She waited for help. It never came. Ethan closed his eyes as if stabbed. Vivian stepped back like she had been struck. "No," Vivian whispered. "She could have called again. She didn't have to." "She did," Ethan said, "and we failed her." Claire wrote one more line. Her hand shook violently now. Marcus steadied the notebook as she finished the final word. Ethan read it. "She forgave you." Vivian's breath stopped. "Forgave me? After everything?" For the first time, tears welled in her eyes. Not dramatic, not forced, but raw and terrified. Claire slowly reached for the torn page in Vivian's grip. Vivian's stared at the little girl's hand, paralyzed by guilt. And then, a sudden bang echoed through the hall. A door slammed open. A voice shouted from outside. Marcus spun around, alarmed. What was that? Ethan stood instantly. Vivian backed away, eyes wide with a fear none of them understood. And Claire, shaking, pale, lifted her notebook again and scribbled one urgent line. "They're here for me." The shouting outside grew louder. Heavy footsteps rushed across the polished floor, followed by panicked voices from the staff. Ethan moved toward the entrance, but Claire frantically shook her head, her small hands trembling as she pointed again to the words she had just written. "They're here for me." Marcus's spine stiffened. Who would come looking for a child like this? Before anyone could answer, two clinic officials burst into the hall. Faces set, papers in hand, urgency in their steps. They weren't here for a donation. They weren't here for a tour. They were here with orders. "Mr. Marshall," the lead official said, breathing hard, "we need the girl returned immediately. Her placement is being reassigned. She'll be moved to a state facility today." Ethan's jaw tightened. "She's a child, not a package you can reassign." "It's not optional," the official replied. "There's been a review of her case. Someone filed a complaint questioning her caretaker's capability. Effective immediately, she's under state protection." Vivian went utterly still. Marcus caught it first, the flicker of guilt on her face. "Vivian," Marcus said slowly, "did you do this?" Vivian didn't answer. Ethan turned to her, betrayal sharp in his voice. "You filed it, didn't you?" Vivian's breath shook. "I had to. If she kept digging, if she kept asking questions, our entire life would collapse." "Vivian," Ethan said, "she's a little girl." Vivian's voice broke, somewhere between fear and desperation. "You don't understand. If the truth comes out about her mother, about what I did, everything we built will fall apart." Claire's eyes filled with grief, not just for herself, but for the woman standing in front of her, broken, exposed, terrified of her own actions. The officials stepped closer. "We need the child. Now." Marcus instinctively placed himself between Claire and the men. "She's not going anywhere until we understand what's happening." "This is a legal order," the official insisted. "Move aside." Ethan stepped forward, his voice firm. No, nobody takes her until I review that order myself. But the officials weren't listening. They reached for Claire's wheelchair. And Claire, panicked, grabbed Ethan's sleeve with surprising strength. Her notebook fell to the floor, flipping open to a page covered in shaky writing. A message she had written earlier, one no one had read yet. Vivian froze when she saw it. Her face drained of color. Marcus picked up the notebook and read the line aloud, voice sinking. She knows what you fear most. The room fell silent. Vivian's knees weakened. No, she can't know that. She can't. But Claire's eyes said everything. And as the officials pushed closer, Ethan stepped into their path, finally understanding that this moment, this child, would decide everything about the life he lived from here on. He turned back to Claire, to Vivian, to the men closing in. Enough, Ethan said. If anyone takes Claire from this house tonight, he paused. The officials stopped. Everyone waited for the final words. They're going to face the truth we've all been running from. But before he could say more, a voice thundered from the corridor. Mr. Marshall, step away from the child. Ethan did not move. His body stood firm between Claire and the officials, a silent promise that he would not let her be taken. Not again, not like her mother. The officials hesitated, unsure whether to push forward or step back. Then, from behind Ethan, Vivian spoke in a trembling voice no one in that mansion had ever heard from her. Stop. Everyone turned. Vivian walked toward the group slowly, each step shaking. She looked at Claire, not with anger, not with pride, but with the face of someone finally admitting a truth she had spent years burying. She's right, Vivian whispered. She knows what I fear most. Because I'm the one who filed the complaint. I'm the reason her mother lost everything. The officials looked stunned, but Vivian wasn't speaking to them anymore. Her eyes stayed locked on Claire. I destroyed an innocent woman, she said, voice breaking. I pushed her away to protect myself, and when she begged for help, I shut the door. I told myself it was for family, for reputation, but the truth is, I was afraid of losing control. Ethan's expression softened with both hurt and sorrow. Marcus lowered his head. Claire lifted her notebook and wrote a slow line with trembling fingers, then held it up. You can choose to stop now. Vivian choked out a breath that sounded almost like a sob. It wasn't forgiveness, not exactly, but it was a bridge, a chance to choose differently, a chance to do something right. Vivian turned to the officials. Cancel the reassignment. Withdraw the complaint. Every document, every order, I revoke it. Immediately. The officials exchanged looks. Mrs. Marshall, the process. Do it, Vivian said with a clarity none of them expected. I will sign whatever you need. I'll take full responsibility. Ethan stepped forward. And I'll take guardianship of Claire, effective today. His voice warmed. She deserves a home. She deserves safety. She deserves kindness. The officials lowered their papers. One nodded slowly. If that is your request, Mr. Marshall, we can begin the transfer. Claire's eyes glistened, her breath catching as Marcus gently squeezed her shoulder. The tension that had gripped the room for so long slowly began to lift, like a heavy storm passing at last. Vivian approached Claire, hesitant. I can't undo what I did, she whispered, but I promise, I will never harm you again. And I will spend whatever time I have left trying to make amends, not for my image, but for the child I helped break. Claire wrote one last message and handed it to her, then started by choosing kindness. Vivian pressed the note to her chest, eyes brimming. Weeks passed. The formal judgment arrived. Ethan Marshall was officially granted guardianship of Claire Bennett. No relocation, no separation, no fear, Vivian stepped away from the social spotlight entirely. She sought counseling. She made private donations to families she had once ignored. She didn't reclaim her throne, but she found something she had never known before: humility and a path toward redemption. As for Claire, the Marshall mansion changed with her presence. The halls that once felt cold slowly warmed, rooms filled with laughter and soft music. Ethan found purpose again, not in wealth, but in fatherhood. Marcus became her closest protector and friend. One evening, Claire sat in the garden, warmth on her face, her notebook open beside her. Ethan placed a hand on her shoulder, and she wrote a simple sentence, one that summed up everything that had changed. Kindness rebuilt what fear destroyed. And for the first time in years, Ethan felt his heart settle. The mansion gates no longer symbolized power. They symbolized home. If you felt moved by this story, don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, and watch the next story here on Echoes of Hope.